parking lot, takes our IDs and lets us in. But yeah, so we had to speed up these shows, and I remember we had a post-production assistant. Every step was a hassle. We had a post-production assistant who told me that you just cannot do that. It was impossible. Got very angry about it. And as the weeks went on, she did nothing to research it. We kept asking her what to do. Mary Harrington was getting very upset. Ended up having to let her go, basically fire her, because she did nothing to schedule post-production and nothing to solve this problem about speed up. The guy who came in, Jason Stiff, was an excellent post-production supervisor. And he found out, within 2 weeks, I think he found out the solution, and we did it. Those little close-ups, those little black mat-outs on the eyes, it's taken directly from an anime giant Robo that we really loved. And this with the kids jumping out the window was basically a joke I inserted to show how eager kids are to get out of school. That actually happened in my art school, the Joe Kubert School. And that's where I got it from. There were days when the bells would ring and kids would jump out the windows of the school from, a couple stories up, and they'd climb down the brick walls. This is Kyle Menke again. Kyle always did the action sequences, and I felt when I came onto the show that there should be action sequences to sort of punch up the dialogue. So you balance out visuals or dialogue with visuals, and you sort of give kids stuff to look at, and you make it feel like they've been through something. Kids and adults, everybody seems to like a good action sequence here and there when it makes sense and it fits in. Kyle really went out and tried to figure everything out. This actually doesn't reflect his boards as well. His boards were a lot better than this, a lot more dynamic. The overseas artists were still trying to get used to this sort of style of filming. Kyle would have things come into the foreground. You'd have warped perspectives. And a lot of this got flattened out. Really saddened me because I believe that overseas could do this, and they just needed to be told to do it and to get into it and not flatten it out. But when it came back flattened out, Jonan and Mary said, yes, this proves that it doesn't work. We shouldn't do action sequences because overseas can't do it, which is the biggest cop-out. I think when you're doing a show, or you're working in animation, if we don't work overseas like a muscle, it will get soft. So everybody has to learn skills, and everybody has to get better at these skills of animating in perspective, doing perspectives and compositions, and recognizing such elements and working with them. If we never do that, and we always do flat things in the industry, you end up never being able to do anything but flat and becoming second-rate. I'm sure that the guys overseas who worked on this learned a lot in their time on it, did a lot better later on, and probably are now more valuable artists overseas. Although there aren't any shows that really do this, so it's almost wasted skills. I've been told by several people on the staff that they're angry at me because I asked them to step up to the plate with perspectives and compositions, and now they realize that nobody wants that anywhere in the business. This was the only show that ever did that. Which, looking at this sequence, I can't say that this is very impressive with composition, but the boards were changed quite drastically from the board artists to the animators, and through layout. The second half just wasn't as stylish as the first half. It just didn't have the sort of attention given to the animation. But it's nice and it was fun, and it really made an impact when we showed it. When you show a show, for the first time to somebody, the style that they see is what they accept. So this show didn't have to be what it was later on. This was good enough to start off with. And like I said, when you see the first episode of many TV shows, they look a lot worse than this. They play a lot worse than this. There's one of the no-nos I always wanted to avoid, which is the hill floor. And it's snuck in all the time. It's always a way to cheat perspective. You do this like hill floor. You can never tell where anything is in perspective, and you can just warp things and bend them. As much as I tried to get rid of them, they always showed up. It was rather nice. This episode really played like a film. You sort of had all your beats were handled. Everything went according to plan. And at the end, it sort of wraps up with this writing, this report. So it leaves you open for the rest of the series, and this was supposed to explain what the rest of the series would be. However, as it went on, the series wandered away from this quite drastically.